Hello world, Bettina Carey here, broadcasting live from Seattle. And it's a small world after all, and we're all in this together. Today, I'm going to have a conversation with my dear, dear soul sister from another mother, Janaki Severy. And we have been together for a very long time now. Janaki is known as the People Development Champion, and her goal is always to support her clients to reach their goals through training, coaching, and through working with individuals to achieve their dreams and to achieve their team dreams too. She's an excellent person at gaining trust and encouraging possibility thinking, successfully building long-term relationships with her clients and their organizations. Her company, Managing Dynamics, was founded in 1999. Janaki excels in individual coaching, executive coaching, and work-life balance. She is the national trainer in emotional intelligence. She's also skilled in hypnotherapy, aromatherapy, medical intuition, and she is an empath. And as far as I'm concerned, she had me at hello. When we first met, she took her two hands to shake my hand, and she said to me, "You're a woman coming into her power for the first time in her life." And she couldn't have been more right. That was back in 2007, and we've been soul sisters ever since. Welcome, Janaki, to the show.
Thank you, Bettina. I'm so happy to be here. And I love hearing that story. You've heard it a million times. It's always good to be here.
I know. So share something with folks that they might not know about you for those that are watching.
When I was a little girl, I was swinging on a trapeze. I was about 8. And, you know, sometimes your legs get tired, and mine did. And I released the trapeze and fell and hit my head and was in a coma for a couple of hours. My dad was in the medical field, so I didn't get rushed to the hospital. But when I recovered, everybody thought things were fine, except I noticed that I was all of a sudden now, I could find things, I knew things, I could answer questions. And, you know, back in the day, nobody thought that was anything except that where are the keys? They're here, they're here. I fast forwarded that to working with kids. I was a special ed teacher. And I had an innate ability to understand the kids maybe better than they understood themselves. So I think this piece about being an empath is a critical part of how I do my work.
Well, I have to say, I have watched you in action, and you are someone I would say is akin to a seer or someone who sees right through people. You know things about me that I've never shared with you. Somehow you seem to have an inkling about things. And so that's why I had to have you over for coffee when we first met. And then I hired you sight unseen to train at an event that I was doing with, actually it was a 9-month consulting project with Comcast and North Seattle Community College. And that's where we set out on our road for friendship. And we've been together and soul sisters ever since. So I'd like to ask you a number of questions around what your topic is going to be in the Women's Empowerment Summit, because we have you slated to talking about profiles. And I'm not talking about being profiled. I'm talking about profiling yourself using these very specific tools that we know can help you identify what your strengths are. One of my favorites is Discover Your Strengths and the Strength Finders 2.0 by the Gallup folks. And I got to discover my number one strength was connectedness. And that is a strength that I lead with for now and probably for the rest of my days, knowing what I know about myself. But we've also done some other profiling. We use the DISC profile for me and also IOPT. And all of them have revealed something that I needed to know about myself and something that others needed to know about me. So share with us about how profiles can help one take your life to a new direction, a new path, a more clear path if you're already on your purposeful path.
Well, I think what happens when we're young is the feedback we get are from people who love us, our family members, our parents, our teachers, people in our lives who are trying to give us direction. But they're giving it through their perspective. So a lot of times we become what's called looking glass self. We see who we are by how others see us. And for some of us, if the people that are in that cheering squad adore us, then that's probably somewhat useful. For others, where the people who are seeing us are more critical or have really high expectations, or maybe there's some things going on behind the scenes that cause them to not see you. These tools help us get a view of you based on how you see yourself. And the way they work, all of them, is there's a series of questions designed through a particular framework. Like Strength Finders is designed to look at strengths. The DISC is designed to look at behaviors. EQ mapping, emotional quotient, is looking at emotional intelligence. And your score, how the report is written and given to you, is based on how you see yourself. So the first thing it does is give you your own ability to be your reference point, not somebody else. Second, it often will reveal something that you didn't know was happening, and you can give it to someone you know who loves you. Don't tell them anything about it, and say, read this, what do you think? And most of the time they'll say, oh my gosh, that's so like you. I've never seen it in writing. So you then get to learn that the way you marked actually did show some things that were important about you that you didn't connect with. So it's really a beautiful set of tools.
I love it. And I remember back in the day when I was president of a local women's organization, we had the opportunity to use the Strength Finders for one of our board retreats. And it was really great because we got to see our strengths. We got to see what those strengths, how they showed up in the board, as well as our weaknesses. We got to better understand one another. And it really set us on a path of self-discovery. And I know for myself, when I discovered that I had connectedness as a number one strength, it was as if my whole life had flashed before my eyes, and I got to know that's why you see everything as connected. I see everything as connected, and it just goes like that for me. Go ahead.
When I think about connectedness, what you heard just a minute ago was my cat. And my cat was trying to connect with us. So I wanted to let you know that this happens even in the animal world. And I think that's really what makes the Strength Finder so unique, because you and I have very similar DISC profiles. We're direct and dominant and influencing, and we're very similar in that regard. But all my qualities are in one section, which is the thinking and analytical quadrant, and yours were one in each section. So you're like this rainbow of options, and I'm like this sort of honed set, and I'm in 1% of the population, and you're also very unique. So it gave us a beautiful way to see each other and complement each other by seeing where we're similar and where we're very different. And when we do that with family members or teams or just in our life, it helps us be much more able to be comfortable out in the world.
Yeah, and we're really very good friends. And also, you're an introvert by another measure, and I'm an extrovert by another measure.
Yes.
And yet, we managed to still get along, and we managed to work collaboratively together on many projects. So that's another kind of profiling tool. So, and at the summit, what can folks expect to learn about themselves at the summit? And then, of course, we're going to have programming after the summit that they can follow up with.
What I'll be talking about is the value of understanding who you are. And I know that sounds silly. Of course, we know who we are, but qualitatively being able to understand some ways to refer to yourself. We may have some micro tools, which would be tools that you can just sort of do at home that don't give you the whole menu. It's like snacks or little sound bites to be able to understand more. Oh, I'm sort of in this quadrant. What does that mean? And so I'll give you a little snack on a couple of these options related to tools. And you will walk away with a sense of, I'm not like everybody else. And those are the two fatal flaws of humans. We think we're just like everybody else. And that because of that, they get me. And so we'll walk into a room or have a discussion and present it and be shocked that people totally don't have that perspective. And it's because we forgot to remember that although we're all grown-up people and we're all, let's say, different than little babies who are learning, how we grew up is very different, but we're all adults. So you already know this. You can be in a room of 20 people and they're not the same.
Right.
But do you know why they're not the same? And that's what you'll learn.
Right. And opening yourself up to better understanding yourself helps you to express and be understood by others. So I think that this program is going to be quite the program built into the Women's Empowerment Summit. So the Women's Empowerment Summit is on June the 10th. It's from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. I invite you to join us at the summit. You can go to the women'sempowermentsummit.com website or the women'sempowermentmarketplace.com. Either way, you get there. If you'd like to be on our mailing list, text the word women to 555-888. Join us for the summit. Thank you so much for coming today to our Zoom call. Janaki, it's been a pleasure to have you. I look forward to seeing you at the summit.
Thank you, Bettina. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Remember, everyone, it's a small world after all, and we're all in this together. So join us in the Women's Empowerment Summit. See you June 10th. Bye for now.